All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Big Four podcast. We have some basketball for you here today. I know Luke wasn't with us last week, but Mike and I gave you a pretty in-depth.
Are we going to talk about Michigan's involvement with the tunnel?
No, this is a basketball podcast.
I just want your opinion that Jermon Green threw his helmet several times.
That has not
and
been.
then McBurrows
that has
came
not
in,
been confirmed
took
by
his
anybody.
pads off and started
right.
pounding on one of the
This is
Michigan
not
State
true,
players.
but we're gonna discuss basketball today. And I know Luke wasn't with us last week, but Mike and I gave you a pretty in-depth preview of a lot of the teams and the conferences. Today, we will recap a couple of scrimmages, and we'll pick some games for this week. So this will probably be a relatively short podcast, so maybe we'll get more than one viewer.
Well, we're going to talk about the tunnel. That'll take up a little bit
All
of
right,
time.
so we're going to start with Michigan State with a convincing win over Grand Valley State. Very impressive performance. What do you guys have to say about this 73-56 win? Any takeaways for Michigan State?
Yeah, the biggest takeaway for Michigan State is their lack of scoring. I think that's going to be their problem all year, is their inability to score. I don't think they have enough offensive weapons.
That's like eighth on the list of our problems.
They don't have a go-to guy that can get them out of a jam when they're in a scoring drought. And at the end of the day, the name of the game is to score more points than their team. And when you can't score points, you can't score more points than the other team.
Yeah, that was not a good performance. That was an embarrassing performance for most of the game. I mean, this transfer from Northern Illinois that Grand Valley State had, we just couldn't stop them, which is probably not a good thing, considering that there's probably a reason why he did transfer. And then they had this Marquette transfer who was like 6'11", and yeah, we struggled to rebound. We were minus rebound margin in the first half, which is probably not good considering you're playing a Division II team. But besides that, it was great. It was amazing. I think the backcourt's going to be good. I can guarantee you that. That's about it. That's about all I can guarantee. I think Malik Hall at the 3 is a complete disaster. He's a 4. You can't. It's getting to the. It might be worse than when Izzo tried to put Miles Bridges at the 3, and that was a complete disaster. And then it looks like that's going to be the same with Hall because he's not fast enough, and he doesn't have the skill necessary to be a wing 3, especially on the fast break. Michigan State loves the fast break, and he's not a good fast break player. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do, because they got really 9 guys. Well, they got 10 scholarship players, but they can only play. I mean, they got some guys that are just unplayable right now. So they're going to be playing 8 guys consistently. It's going to be interesting to see what they do at the 3. And we'll see if Aikens in play. I'm assuming he's going to be the starter, but he didn't play, and he might not play against Northern Arizona tomorrow or Gonzaga, which would be a problem. Although I don't think it matters if he plays against Gonzaga. That's going to be a complete and utter bloodbath on the aircraft carrier. They might have to evacuate it. That's how bad it's going to be. But besides that, it was great. I thought Sissoko was improved, which that doesn't say much because he was one of the worst players I've ever seen in the history of the Big Ten last year. But he was playable against a Division II team. So here's what I'll tell you: the backcourt's going to be solid, and we might be a little bit better in perimeter defense. But we aren't going to be able to rebound, and scoring might be an issue at times. We're not going to have any post game unless Kohler kind of works his way in there. But I doubt he'll play much because Izzo only likes players that can play defense, even though he plays Hauser 30 minutes a game. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I don't really take anything out of this. I mean, the first half is obviously a disgrace. Michigan State coming out of sleep in the first half.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd just like to point out what a great game AJ Hogard had, and I've been on the
He was
AJ.
terrible. He was awful.
I've been on the AJ
He
Hogard
turns it over
train
way too much.
for a while now, and he had a great game here: 14 points, 5 assists, 80% from the field, and 2 for 2 from 3. How about that?
Yeah, I don't care. Listen, this is what always happens. These random players who've never hit threes hit a couple of threes in a preseason game. Everybody thinks they're like Steph Curry, and then they shoot 22% during the year. And that's what's going to happen with him. And I saw this on Twitter. This is a great comparison. Michigan State trying to limit turnovers is like a like a weight loss New Year's resolution. It's always a goal at the start of the season, and then by the first 3 games in the year, you just know that they're never going to limit turnovers. It's good. This team is going to turn the ball over. It's going to be probably one of the worst teams in the Big Ten in turnovers, and they are every year because Hogard can't dribble, which doesn't help. That doesn't help at all, really. And whenever Hauser puts the ball on the floor, it's an automatic turnover.
Well, he runs
We know that.
He's like Magic Johnson, passing.
What comparison did he make this year? I can't remember what he made. Some ridiculous comparison. Well, first of all, he said this is the Joey Hauser I thought I was getting from Marquette 4 years ago. He said that, but he made some other comparison. I can't remember. Oh, he said Jaden Akins was the best two-way player he's had since Gary Harris. Are you kidding? Talk about putting pressure. He's awful at that. He puts way too much pressure on these kids.
I'd also like to point out a great game from the 0-star recruit, Jackson Kohler.
No. That's Carson Cooper.
No, that's Jackson Kohler.
That's Carson Cooper.
No.
The one that played on the IMGC team?
No, that's Kohler.
No. Kohler's actually a good recruit.
Look at him. You're telling me he's athletic?
No, but he's got post moves. He's
right.
I'm
getting them mixed up. But a good game from the 0-star recruit, Cooper.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, he played a good game.
Well, he's supposed to be redshirting, but we don't have enough scholarship players, so he can't redshirt.
And a good game from Davis Smith.
And Nick Sanders had a great game too.
Yeah, and Izzo.
Yeah, Steven Izzo. Oh my God, you should have seen the shot that he took. He got blocked into the stands.
All right. Good segment there. Glad we did that. Michigan also playing a preseason game, beating Ferris State. Any reactions to this? Luke?
Yeah, there's not much I don't think you can take from this game. I don't think there are a ton of questions about Michigan this year, other than if they have the talent to compete at the top of the Big Ten. I think they probably do, but for the most part, with Dickinson back, I think you pretty much know what you're getting out of Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to be tested early in the year, so they have a chance to sort of play into themselves a little bit. Now they're a pretty young team, but they got some guys who have been in the program, but are going to have to step up, obviously. And then his son had a good game, but we'll see how he plays against real competition. As good as Marcus Bingham's brother is, I'm not sure how great a competition that is. Marcus Bingham's brother had 6 points. Good to see. 6 points, 5 rebounds. He rebounds more than his brother, at least. But yeah, not a whole lot else to say, but great game from Joey Baker. That was a great get.
Yeah, obviously the two guys you look at in this game are Jed Howard and Kobe Buffkin. A good game for Jed Howard.
Jesus, Michigan going to play any defense this year? That's my question. Are they going to play a lick of defense?
Yeah, I mean the defense. The only reason they scored that many points is because the game was over and they brought in all the backups in the second half.
I'm sorry, but Michigan's backups, even their walk-on, should be better than any player that Ferris State has.
Jet Howard, I mean, I think he's going to be really good this year. You look at him, he's lanky, he can shoot. He's already better than Caleb Houston after one preseason game. So I think he's going to have a solid year. A guy that I've been saying is going to make a big jump. I said this at the end of last year was Kobe Buffkin, and he played a great game. We'll see if he does it in the regular season, but I'm sticking with that. I think he's going to have a good year. Yeah, as for the defense, I mean,
That's not good
why is that not good?
because he doesn't play defense. That's what I'm saying. You got a bunch of players
Well-
out there who can't play defense.
Listen, Llewellyn plays defense. Terrence Williams plays defense.
You're asking the Yale or whatever hell he's
Princeton.
from transfer to play defense.
And Jet Howard can play defense. If you look at him, he's very long, lanky, he's quick, good defender.
Well, you know who else was long? Caleb Houston.
Not really,
And
actually.
he couldn't play defense. He was like
No,
6'8".
he's not lanky, and Jet Howard is. A good game for McDaniel. They're going to need him as with some depth. Their bench is not good, so they're going to need some depth. All right.
They got Joey Baker off the bench.
Yeah, they have Joey Baker, who sucks. Ohio State also played a game. I don't know who they
Played
played.
2 games.
Oh, they played 2 games. Luke, you have anything to say about these games?
They lost to Wake Forest a couple. I think it was two or 3 weeks ago in a secret scrimmage, but I don't take much out of that. And then they beat Chaminade this past week by like 40 points. Scored 100 and something points. Played a lot better in the second half. Tanner Holden looked really well. It looked really good. The grad transfer from Wright State. It's just an interesting team this year because you have, I think there's 5 or 6 freshmen on the team who are all top 75 recruits, and then you have like 5 grad transfers that are seniors plus Justice Suing. So you have, once again, no big. I mean, last year was probably the exception, but Holtman likes to have all this depth but no stars at the top. So I'm a little concerned about. I mean, Holden seems like a guy who you can go to if you need scoring down the stretch. That was our problem last year. But it's gonna be a tough season at the beginning of the year because of how inexperienced and young we are, and we only have 2 guys coming back or 3 guys coming back that contributed last year, and one of them was hurt the whole year and suing. So it's gonna be a tough start of the year, but hopefully by the end of the year, the young guys will grow into it, and there'll be some team chemistry, and they'll be able to make a run in the tournament.
It's going to be tough. Ohio State's going to have to really grind to beat Robert Morris tomorrow.
I'm not talking about those games. I'm talking early. We have a tough schedule. We're playing in like 3 different tournaments. The Maui, we're playing. We have the chance to play like three top 25
Yeah, you
opponents,
got
something like that.
Maine.
Hold on.
Yeah, tough game.
I'll bring it up. What did I rate Ohio State?
What a tough opponent that is.
I rated Ohio
It is a
State's
tough-
schedule as an A-.
It is a tough. They have a new coach, and according to Mike's new coach thing, anytime a team gets a new coach,
That's a great point. Maine's
they
going to be a
only
tough
win.
game.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Duke has a new coach. We're playing Duke.
Yeah. All right, I guess Mike, go ahead.
I'll have to watch Ohio State play.
We have to play at North Carolina, even though it's not actually at North Carolina. It's in MSG. Duke. We play either Cincinnati and Arizona, and then we play another team in the Maui. We play San Diego State.
Could play Arizona. Could play
Yep.
Arkansas. Could play Texas Tech. Could play Creighton.
So it's we just gotta be right. We have an easy-ish and Big Ten schedule, but I do also feel like the big problem is we're going to be small once again, and so our toughness and rebounding is going to be the big question. At the
Yeah,
beginning of the year,
the loss of Joey Brunk is going to be big for Ohio State.
Well, we only have one player that's over 6'10", or over 6'8", so.
Who's
Actually,
that?
we have two players over 6'8", and one's a junior walk-on, and the other one's a true freshman from Nigeria, Felix Okpara. So
I thought you were
it's
going to say
not-
Zed. I thought you were going to say Zed Key, but Zed Key's like 6'5". So.
no, he's 6'8", and and 6'8's probably he's like Jay Sean Tate, but he can't actually dribble.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say what I said last week about Ohio State. I don't think they're very good. I have them ranked, I think, 11th in the Big Ten. I look at this roster, and there's, I mean, give me a break here. Zed Key, good, a solid starter, nothing more. Same thing with Isaac Likely. And then, you look at the rest of this roster, and there's, I mean, Sean McNeil, okay, decent player, maybe a guy that comes off the bench on a good team. Or
The problem is there's a bunch of question marks. You just don't. You
there's
just
so many
don't know.
question marks.
They're
Here's
all
what I
grad
don't-
transfers.
How these
or
random
freshmen.
transfers are going to be. I don't like this roster at all. I think it's a bad roster. You can't rely on random grad transfers from tiny schools and then say you want Zed Key to be your best player.
Here's what I
No
like
one's
about
asking Zed
Chris's
Key to be the
argument.
best player.
Yeah, they are. If you look at this roster, they are.
Chris thinks Michigan State's going to be good when they literally have the same, almost for probably a worse problem. They have players that haven't done anything that they have to contribute for them to even be a decent team.
That's not true.
And Ohio State went out and they got a bunch of guys who've done it before.
Yeah, and the America East. I got to see this.
Isaac Likely's done it before.
What are you
Yeah,
talking
he's like a
about,
solid
Chris?
starter.
Chris,
And
Chris,
John
you're
McNeil's
talking
like a
about
sixth
these-
man.
Chris, you're talking
Okay.
about. You're saying they got all these transfers from small time schools. Likely came from Oklahoma State. McNeil came from West Virginia.
No, I'm
the
not
only
talking
small
about
time
those two.
transfer is Tanner Holden, who came from Wright State. He's
Yeah,
the
they're
only
relying
one.
on
And
Tanner
he
Holden.
averaged 20. And he averaged 26 points a game for Wright State.
Great.
So let's not act like. I mean, you're talking. Yeah, all these transfers coming in. It's just Tanner Holden. He
What do
can
you
be a
Chris?
question mark when it comes to the Big Ten. And then you
All
have
right,
all
we're
the
gonna go.
freshmen
We're gonna go
question
through.
marks.
We're gonna go through
What
Ohio
are you
State.
What are you expecting from Tanner Holden this year, Chris? What do you think he's going to average 5 points a game?
Well, Ohio State fans expect him to average 25.
He might.
You look at Ohio. I'm looking at Ohio State's starting lineup in this game, and here we go. Zed Key, solid starter.
Good player.
Solid starter. Sean McNeil, fringe starter.
He's not going. I don't think he'll end up starting by the end of the year. Is the thing, though.
Guys,
the
Another
one thing-
talented
I think
freshman.
that. Yeah, the thing is the roster at the lineup at the beginning of the year is going to be a lot different than the one at the end of the year.
the lineup's just bad. You look at Likely, solid starter. Never heard of Bruce Thornton. Never heard of Bryce Sensabaugh.
Yeah, because they're both true freshmen.
Yeah, you can't start these. It's a bad roster. It's just it's what it is. It's a bad
Meanwhile,
roster.
Juwan starts his son. Give me a break.
You cannot
Give me a
have.
fucking
You can't
break.
just play 8 role players in your rotation and expect to be good. This is a bad roster, and I don't expect Ohio State.
You
to be good at
understand?
all.
This is Kirk Ferentz levels of nepotism. Him starting his own son.
His son's good.
Could you imagine the outrage if Tom started Steven Izzo at point guard?
I think that's a little different.
No, it's the same thing.
All right, let's move on. Ohio State will be bad.
No, the problem is, Chris, it's not that Ohio State has a bunch of decent to good players. They just don't. You don't know what you're getting out of them. It's a problem.
They don't. They have
It's not that they're
they have a
bad
bunch of role
players.
players.
You don't even know. But the problem is, Thornton, Sensabaugh, Roddy Gale Jr., and Okpara have never played a college game in their
Yeah,
life.
at
You don't
best,
even
they'll be
know
role
what they are.
players.
You don't know what they are.
They're role players.
Chris, who's going to be better, Isaac Likely or what Jamari Wheeler was for him last year?
I don't know. That's close.
Oh, come on.
I probably Likely. But he's fine. He's their best player. That's not good. Not good.
You don't know he's their best player. You don't know that
It's
yet.
either him or Zed Key, and I could say both of those are
Tanner
not good.
Holden.
Well, you also said you've never heard of Sensabaugh or Thornton, who are 2 of the 5 starters that played the game. So how can you even say you know who the best player is?
Well, I know they're bad because I would have heard of them if they were any good.
Well,
All right.
You don't hear about any Ohio State basketball player because they don't give a shit about
Yeah,
that.
because they're not good.
No, because they don't care. Ohio State could get the #1 player in the class, and Ohio State fans would ask if he could play football, and then they could make him play football. Like if Jalen Suggs committed to Ohio State, they would make him play football. They would make him.
All right. We'll talk about a couple
Chris. Chris, can you tell me who the #1 recruit was in the class of 2022 that all these freshmen are in?
in the country.
Yep.
I don't know.
Hey, you see, so like.
No, tell me who it is, and if you tell me who it is, I probably know who they
No,
are.
that just proves my point. No,
Just because I don't know the rankings by heart. Who is it?
No, I'm not even going to tell you at this point.
All right. Well, I'm going to look it up, and we're going to sit here and wait for the next segment.
Make sure you go to on 3.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Derek Lively. I know who that is. I know who these people are that are in like the top 10. I don't know like these random people that Ohio State's bringing in that suck.
Oh, the guy who was one spot ahead of Jet Howard.
Yeah. I only know Jet Howard because he went to Michigan. I don't know who these people are that are near him in the rankings.
The only reason why Jet Howard's that high is because his dad's a great coach. That's why Steven Izzo was a 3-star recruit.
Great. They're relying on Jet Howard to be like the 5th best player. If it's more than great.
Yeah, well, just the levels of nepotism there are off the charts. What's
All right.
next? What's next is he gonna start his other son?
Oh, that's definitely not going to happen.
I
All
can
right.
see it.
We got 2 games here, other notable scrimmages, and then we'll make some picks. Tennessee handled Gonzaga, and Tennessee has played a couple of other secret scrimmages as well, and has been
You
described.
can't play a
as,
couple other secret scrimmages. You're only allowed to play one secret scrimmage.
well, they played a non-secret scrimmage and a secret scrimmage.
There you go.
And
What have they been described as?
they were described as one of the most polished teams in the country and as Final Four good. Are you buying?
You know who
Tennessee?
said that?
Who?
Tom Izzo. So I don't want to take anything from
No, did they play Tennessee?
that. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's who described that.
And
So,
they barely beat Michigan State. So I don't want to hear anything about
Tennessee is described as that, and then they handled Gonzaga. Do you have any takeaways from this game, or are you buying Tennessee?
No, I'm not buying Tennessee. Tennessee barely beat Michigan State in a scrimmage. I don't want to hear anything about Tennessee.
Basketball is one of those sports where you really don't know until you get into it. I think Tennessee will be good. They're usually good every year. What's his face? Your guy there, Chris, the coach, does a good job every year.
They need to make his nickname Mr. November.
But I mean, they'll be a 5, not the 5 seed, but a 5 seed plus line. Probably come tournament time. I think they'll probably. I wouldn't pick them to win the SEC probably, but they'll probably be up there and they could probably make a run in the SEC tournament. But I don't know. I mean, the problem with all these polished teams is it just means you have the most you have the oldest players, which just means you have no talent. That's what that means. Because if they were any good, they would have left for the NBA.
Exactly. That's why you don't want to peak in too early, because the teams that peak too early are the teams that have all the experience.
Tennessee is the first team. Tennessee's the first team ever to peak in October. They're not even peaking in November.
That's true.
That being said,
Tennessee's already peaked and the season hasn't started yet. They beat Gonzaga in a script. I bet you that is gonna come up at some point. Some Tennessee fans are gonna say, "Oh, but we beat Gonzaga in a scrimmage."
That being said, I think Tennessee has a great chance to win the SEC. Looking at the other teams that are in the league, a lot of young teams.
What do you mean by win? Tournament or
No, the regular season.
No. Tournament's what matters, right?
Oh, please.
Oh, come on.
So I think they have a good chance to win the SEC. I don't know if I'll pick them, but I definitely think they're a top 10-ish team. As for Gonzaga, it's tough to take anything out of a scrimmage, but they.
So you're going to take something out of a scrimmage for Tennessee, but not for Gonzaga.
No, I am. I'm about to say that they usually don't defend, and they didn't defend in this game, so that's a problem. All right, another great game we can talk about is Louisville losing to Lenore-Rhine. Any thoughts on this?
No, because it's good. Louisville deserves it. That's karma for throwing my guy Chris Mack under the bus. Yeah, they
also
deserve to lose every single game.
It's important to note that they beat Chaminade by 7 as well.
Yeah, and Ohio State beat them by 40.
What did Chaminade have, like a preseason tour around America or something? they pulled like a HBCU. They scheduled a ton of great teams and went on a tour, but instead of the actual regular season, they did it in the preseason.
It's once they fly into the U.S., it's a lot cheaper to just keep flying around the U.S. to fly back to Hawaii.
Fair point.
So,
it's going to be tough.
Louisville sucks. Let's be honest.
It's going to be tough in year one for my guy. Forgot his name, but
Kenny
he's going
Payne.
to. What?
Kenny Payne.
Kenny Payne. He's
The guy from Sports Center.
that's Kenny Mayne.
Oh, man.
It's going to be tough. He's a much more proven recruiter than he is coach, and the roster they have there. At
Yeah, well, if it
Louisville
wasn't for
is
Georgia
stacked.
Tech, Louisville would be coming in last in the ACC.
And well, let's calm down. You think
Yeah,
BC
BC.
is going to be worse? BC is going to be a lot worse.
BC will be better.
And Pittsburgh's going to be a disaster.
Pittsburgh could be worse. Yeah.
Syracuse is going to be bad, really bad. He doesn't have his two sons. Boeheim doesn't have his two sons anymore to bail him out. So, but it's going to be a rough year for Louisville. I have no idea what to expect from them. They might be really bad. It would not surprise me.
Well, yeah, I completely agree. They're really bad. Roster sucks. I know a lot of Louisville fans are on social media talking about how they're going to win 10 conference games. That has no chance of happening. And they're going to be one of the worst teams.
They would
Oh,
if they
Louisville
Chris
fan?
Mack as their coach.
And yeah. So yeah, they're going to be really bad. All right. That was great.
Listen, I just want to say something because this is ridiculous. But the people who say that Louisville, Kentucky is the best rivalry in college basketball, I don't think I've ever seen a Louisville fan in my life. And I'm sure there are plenty. But, I mean, compared to other rivalries, you're telling me, and obviously, it's a good regional rivalry, but you're telling me it's the best rivalry in college basketball? Give me a break.
All right. Yeah, that was a great segment. Glad we did that. Okay. We're gonna preview 2 games here, and then we're gonna pick a bunch of games. Really impressive slate this week. We'll start with a marquee matchup tomorrow night, probably the biggest game of the night, maybe the biggest game of the week. We have America East powerhouse Maine traveling out to Lincoln to play Nebraska. Quick preview and pick of this game.
Well, Maine's projected to finish higher in the America East by 5 spots than Nebraska is to finish in the Big Ten. So that tells you all you have to know about Maine. So the transitive property of conferences tells you Maine should have a good shot in this game.
All right, so you're picking Maine.
No, I'm picking Nebraska.
No, you're down for Maine. Mike?
No, the transitive property of conferences.
You're down for Maine.
It's going to be interesting. I really do. You know, Mark Wood has really brought a culture up to Orono. They're going to play hard. They're going to push the pace, I'm sure. They're going to be a fast break team. And, Hoiberg's was just like his 6th year. And, for Nebraska, their football and basketball programs are, sort of similar. They've just never been able to get off the ground under him. And I'm not expecting them to be much better. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think Nebraska wins on a buzzer beater.
Listen, this is a really tough game for me to pick. I love Nebraska. If you look at their roster, they have one of my favorite players in college basketball, in Tomi Naga. He's got to be a force this year, and he's going to be very hard.
Yeah. He's going to be tough.
Yes, as always, he's tough. He's going to be very hard for Maine to stop. So that does worry me in this game. That said, you look at the way the University of Maine played at the end of last year and the hiring of Chris Markwood. They bring back a lot of good players from last year.
Yeah, like who? Name one.
Jashante Wright McLeish.
Duhart.
Good. Yeah, Duhart, LaShawn Duhart. Like bringing a couple Mainers.
Perovich.
Yep. Yeah, Novak Perovich. They bring a couple Mainers too with the recruiting class. They all, They bring in John Shea and Owen Maloney. That's good recruiting class. And
John Shea's going to be. He is a force down low.
He really is. He's going to give Nebraska.
He might actually, if they start him against Nebraska, he might get every rebound.
And Kristaps Field is back too. Good player. And I just think Maine.
What about Ada Fuller and Ada Tugun?
Oh, he did play a little bit last year.
He's a good player, yeah.
Yeah, really good. But yeah, I think this is good. They're going to be a problem for Nebraska. if you look really all areas of the roster, you look at Blaze Keita is going to have a tough time with John Shea in this game. So I think Maine wins in a close one.
Apparently,
Me
Maine
and
has 17 people on the roster. Is that even allowed?
Walk-ons.
Michigan State has like 10.
Well, we have I think it's 10 scholarship players, and then every famous kid's son on the bench as walk-ons.
Okay, that was great. So Luke and I have Maine. Mike has Nebraska. Now Michigan State against Gonzaga on the played outdoors.
Yeah, Michigan
God, I
State
hope
better
this
just
game
hope.
gets canceled.
Michigan State just better hope for bad weather. Or like that last time someone tried to play on an aircraft carrier and the condensation made the floor all slippery. That's what Michigan State's got to hope for.
They also
Okay.
tried to play that in like South Carolina and the humidity.
Yeah, but
That was a
I
complete
think
disaster.
I think this game is actually going to be somewhat close for the first 2 to 3 minutes, and then I think Gonzaga is going to really pull away and probably win by 30 points.
Yeah, hold on. I got to get the weather for this game. Let's see. Well, they say it's the same every day. Oh boy. It's actually going to rain tomorrow and Wednesday. Hopefully that'll slicken up the court enough.
Oh, they built the court yet?
Hopefully they're not smart enough to put a tarp on the court. It's going to be 64 and cloudy. Winds.
You know what is BS?
Is
I'm assuming this is in San Diego.
Yes.
You know what is BS about this? They should take it out of port and make them play in the middle of the ocean. Like, they should actually drive the aircraft carrier, like somewhere random, and like just go for 2 days and then wake them all up and play, and then put it right on the edge of the aircraft carrier. So then there's a chance that someone could fall.
Yeah,
off.
make the waves part of the action.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
And then they should have F-22s doing flybys over the court, so you get some random gusts of the wind of the flyby. So you never know when you're shooting.
Here's what I'll say about this game. Assuming it'll get played, and assuming Michigan State doesn't get a mysterious COVID outbreak before the game, which I'm personally rooting for. But I forgot to mention this earlier, but actually, Matty Sissoko didn't get his first foul until like 10 minutes left in the game. So that's he would come into the game last year, immediately get 2 fouls, get taken out. It's going to be a really difficult matchup for him, obviously. And then Joey Hauser's going to have to play the 5, and one advantage I think Michigan State could have is guards. Gonzaga's their situation at guards is a little, I don't know, it's a little strange. All indications are that they struggled in the Tennessee scrimmage with point guard play. So that'll be one place Michigan State has an advantage, but every other position, Gonzaga is going to be better, and they're obviously better at coach. And the crowd's going to be rooting for Gonzaga. It's on the West Coast. I'm sure they're all Gonzaga fans out there. It's going to be a
lot
tough
of Gonzaga
road.
fans.
It's going to be a tough road environment.
Yeah.
The waves in the harbor are going to be tough to deal with. Not as much so as if they took the aircraft carrier out in the middle of the Pacific and played. But they could maybe keep it close for a while, and then Gonzaga will pull away inevitably, and it'll be one of those games where everybody hyped it up, and it'll be just a complete disappointment. That's what's going to happen.
I think this game's going to be close. Maybe.
By the way, whoever decided to put an MSU basketball game at 9:30 on a Friday and then a Michigan State football game at 12 on a Saturday should be shot. That's ridiculous.
It's going to be close. Here's the thing. Gonzaga's weakness and Michigan
Close.
State.
They're going to give it to Timmy 35 times.
Gonzaga's weakness and Michigan State's weakness. They line up. Gonzaga doesn't play defense, but Michigan State struggles to score. So I think there's going to be a little give there, and Michigan State's going to be able to keep this game close. It's going to be a very high scoring game. I think maybe Gonzaga wins by 10.
It might be close until Izzo experiments by putting Jack Hoiberg in the game. Sorry, he's not on our team. By putting Davis Smith in the game because in November Izzo's he's gonna
He's going to play
try
about
to mess
14
around
players.
with lineups. Because Izzo doesn't care. He treats November like the preseason. That's why we never win these games. Because he's an idiot.
All right, let's pick some games here.
By the
Purdue.
way, I'm taking Michigan State.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Purdue Fort Wayne at Michigan.
Michigan.
I'm taking Purdue Fort Wayne.
All right. Quinnipiac at Rhode Island.
Who are you taking?
Michigan.
Wow.
Quinnipiac at Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
Is this a rivalry game?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with
They struggle to find games.
Archie Miller in Rhode Island.
All right. Yeah, I'll take Rhode Island as well. Northern Arizona at Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Michigan.
Close.
Yeah, Michigan State's gonna look over Northern Arizona for Gonzaga, and they're gonna lose. I'm gonna take Northern Arizona.
All right. I'll take Michigan State. Robert Morris at Ohio State.
Ohio State.
I was gonna take Ohio State, but Luke's telling me that they're gonna have early season struggles has really made me reconsider. I think Ohio State wins on a full court buzzer beater.
I'll take Ohio State. Penn at Iona.
Listen, last 3 years I've said Penn's going to be really good. And one of these years is going to have to turn out to be true. I'll go with Penn.
We're gonna have to go with Boston Kate and Iona.
Yeah, I agree. I'll take Iona. All right. Northeastern at BU.
This is a big rivalry game.
Great game.
I'll take I don't know. I'll take Northeastern.
Oh yes, the battle of the two wannabe Ivy League schools in Boston. Gonna take Northeastern.
I'm gonna go with BU because they're at home.
Yeah, big.
Yeah, like
that's
that
a big
matters.
difference.
Yeah, it's a
They
big
play in
event.
they play in a freaking high school gym.
Memphis at Vanderbilt.
Memphis.
I'm gonna take Vanderbilt. I think it's gonna be Stackhouse's coming out party this year. They're gonna be really good. They're gonna win 25 games.
All right. I'm also gonna take Vanderbilt, but they're not
They
going to
still
win
have,
25 games.
I want to know if they still have Liam Robbins. If they do, then I think they're gonna win 30 games.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Here's a good game. It has like a 1 point line on it. Tulsa at Oregon State.
Tulsa.
Where's the game being played?
It's at Oregon State.
Like, what's their gym like?
Cavernous.
Okay, I'll take Tulsa.
Well, yeah, I mean, considering Oregon State won 3 games last year and they lost like their top 3 players, yeah, Tulsa's going to win
I'm going to take the Beavers.
for the upset.
They're 1.5 point favorites.
They might be underdogs against Florida A&M on Friday.
All right. Charleston Southern at Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Yeah, this is the wrong Charleston. If they were playing the College of Charleston, then I'd be worried. But Charleston Southern sucks. So Ohio State.
Ohio State. Oh, here's a great game. Dean at Holy Cross.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, if this was Dean baseball, I'd go with Dean. They have a lot of good baseball players on their team. But it's basketball, so I'll go with Holy Cross.
Is this a rivalry game?
Sure. I just was going through the games and I saw Dean and I saw I had to put it on there.
Yeah, I think I saw some other random school. I can't remember what it was, but I don't even remember who they were playing. But yeah, I think Dean is a solid sports program. They're a very good GNAC school. and I think they'll keep it close. But you can't go against Holy Cross. Holy Cross is one of the best basketball histories of any college in the country. So got to go with Tommy Heinsohn and Holy
Bob
Cross.
Cousy.
You remember the last
Cousy.
time you picked Holy Cross early in the season?
Yeah, I do. I almost got that right.
Yeah, not really.
No, Holy Cross was beating Michigan at halftime.
Yeah, and they lost by 50.
Okay.
I will take Holy Cross in a close game. All right, Vermont at St. Mary's.
Which St. Mary's is this?
The one in California.
Okay. I'll take Vermont. Why not?
What's great is I type in St. Mary's, and the first thing that comes up is Mount St. Mary's.
See, that's why I was asking the question.
Okay, I was going to look at the roster, but I can't pull them up on the ESPN app. So, I believe that they have a little bit of roster turnover, but I'll still
It's
take.
the Saints spelled out.
I'll take them. I'll take them because they're at home. All right, Eastern Michigan at Michigan.
Michigan. I'm changing my pick to St. Mary's.
Okay.
I'm taking Amoni Bates and Eastern Michigan. I have Michigan starting 0-2.
Moni Bates isn't even
All right.
playing, is he? I thought he was in jail.
No, all the charges were dropped, and he's playing.
I will take Michigan here.
Sure about that?
Great,
Moni Bates is going to put up 50.
great neutral site matchup here. Houston versus St. Joe's.
Which St. Joe's is this?
The one in Maine.
Ooh. Well, that's
The one in Philadelphia. Like it matters. Who are you gonna?
you just gotta clarify because you never know. I'm gonna go with Houston.
Is this a neutral site game or is it at?
No, it's a neutral site.
Who's the St. Joe's, or was it? Who's the St. Joe's coach? Did they get it? Were they the team that got a new coach, or was it LaSalle?
That was LaSalle.
LaSalle got Fran Dunphy.
No, St. Joe's coach retired. Remember, Jim Calhoun stepped away from basketball.
That's right. Yes. I'm gonna go with Houston. Oh man, what a game!
Houston. Clemson at South Carolina.
This is a big rivalry game. South Carolina's got a new coach trying to build that program back up. I mean, they were in the Final Four, 3 or 4 years ago? I'm going to take South Carolina.
3 or 4 years ago. It was like 7 years ago or 8 years ago at this point.
Yeah, well,
Close enough.
don't count the COVID years.
Okay. I'm going with Clemson.
I'm going to take Clemson as well. Florida State at UCF.
Oh God, I know nothing about UCF. Is this like a Taco Fall UCF? Oh, that's shit. That's their women's program. Is their women's program any good? Just for the fact that UCF's program pops up after all their things, I'll go with them.
I remember UCF was supposed to be a tournament team last year.
Remember when they beat Michigan?
Yeah, they beat Michigan, and they were supposed to be a tournament. So they got Michael Durr. Remember him? He played for Indiana last year. It's going to be close. Okay, who are they playing? I forgot. Florida State?
Florida State.
I'm going to go with UCF with the upset.
Wow. I'm going to take Florida State here.
What's the line?
I don't know. This is like 5 days away. All right. Great game here. Kansas State at Cal.
Well, Cal's got rich basketball history. And I'm a big fan of Cal. And it's at Cal, so that's a lot of travel. Kansas State.
It's going to be packed.
new coach, I'm gonna go with Cal.
Yeah, Cal's a tough team.
How about this stat? For the last 10 games that these two teams played combined, last year they went 1-9.
Yeah, brand new Kansas State coach, bunch of new players, not expected to do really anything. Mark Fox is at Cal, decent coach, mediocre coach.
Pretty
But
bad.
I'm a big, what's his name fan. God, I can't remember his name. Kansas State coach Twang,
Such a big fan. Can't remember his name.
Jerome Tang, great coach. He's going to have Kansas State a perennial NCAA tournament team, but it's going to take time. But they're still going to win this game. It's going to be a statement win.
All right. I'm gonna take Cal. I'm gonna take Cal because they're at home. Just because what Luke said, it's gonna be a raucous environment.
Yeah, Cal is favored by 6 against UC Davis. They're a great team.
All right. Let's take a look here. Oh, here's one of the better games on the slate. The University of Maine, Fort Kent at Maine.
Yeah, I'll take Maine.
Maine usually struggles with their in-state rivals.
Oh yeah, we saw it in person last year.
Yeah, yep. They played Farmington close. They've played Maine Maritime over the years. But especially at the community college level, which is basically what Maine Fort Kent plays at. Those teams usually give Maine just a really hard time. So I think it's gonna be a close game. But I think I think Fort Kent's going to have an opportunity. All they have to do is inbound the ball. It's going to get stolen, and there's going to be a wild buzzer beater for Maine to win. And this place is going to go wild. They're going to storm the court.
Yeah, the two of us are going to storm the court. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a really close game. Fort Kent usually has a really strong team. They're usually pretty good every year.
Yeah, they recruit nationally.
Yeah, they really do. But I will take Maine.
Internationally.
2-0.
UMaine Fort Kent has the highest percentage of international students of like any school. I can't remember what the stat was, but they have like the highest percentage of international students of something. So they recruit internationally. It's going to be a tough game.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So next game, West Virginia at Pittsburgh.
West Virginia.
Yeah, man, rivalry game, obviously. Both of these teams, tough, gritty. Huggins, bad year last year. He's going to have to get it back. I'll take West Virginia.
Oh, yeah, West Virginia. All right, great game here. Northern Iowa at Richmond.
Richmond.
Northern Iowa, good season last year. Richmond, great season last year. Richmond.
I'll take Richmond because they're at home. Villanova versus Temple.
This is part of the Philadelphia.
Also had Villanova versus LaSalle, but I didn't put that game on here.
Big five.
I'm going with Temple.
All right.
I don't think Villanova is going to be very good.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Villanova is going to be very good either, but who the heck knows what you're going to get from Temple? When was the last time Temple was decent at basketball? It's been at least
years ago when they were an 8 seed in the tournament.
Yeah, it's been a while. They were consistently pretty good. Actually,
They were consistently coming in like 5 to 6 in the American and like being an 8 to 10 seed in the tournament.
Yeah.
So basically what Ohio State's been doing.
BPI gives Villanova only a 55% chance to win. I don't know if that considers Temple's home court. They really have a great home court there in Philadelphia for Temple games. Really unbelievable. I'm going to take Villanova.
Oh, yeah, Villanova. Stanford at Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Oh boy, the Brew City Battle. Oh, this is in Milwaukee. That really changes things.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Stanford. EPI think Stanford's going to win. 50.8% chance. I'm going to take Stanford.
Yeah, I'll take Wisconsin. All right, 2 games left. Washington State at Boise State.
Washington State.
Man, Boise State was really close to making the tournament last year. They couldn't quite get over that Mountain West hump. Mountain West had 4 teams last year, I believe, but they were really close. And Washington State is a lot. Everybody's saying Washington State's going to be their sleeper in the Pac-12.
They said that last year too.
Yeah, well, and they might still be. I'm going to take Boise State.
That was good analysis there. Everybody's saying Washington State's going to be the sleeper. I'm taking Boise State.
No, yeah, because that's what everybody else is saying. That's not what I'm saying.
I will also take Boise State because they're at home. All right, Colorado at Tennessee, last game.
Tennessee.
I know Chris is a real big Colorado guy.
Yeah, they're going to be good this year.
Let's see. What does BPI think? BPI really likes Tennessee. It's one of those games where it's going to feel like, I don't know if feels the right word. It's going to feel like a big game at the time because Tennessee, you're playing your first big non-conference game of the year. If you don't include the secret scrimmage with Gonzaga, it's going to feel like a big game. But by the end of the year, this game, if they lose, it's going to be a bad loss. So they're not going to let that happen. Colorado is, they aren't great. I'm going to take Tennessee.
All right, well, that's it.
Wait, why are we picking the Loyola Marymount game?
Who are they playing?
I'm not sure, but Justin Arns is on the team, and he transferred there, and they're picked in the preseason poll. They're picked to finish dead last in the WCC.
That's nice. All right, anything else to add? That was a great podcast. Really one of our best.
Yeah, we do it for the viewers. We do it for the fans. If it wasn't for everybody who listens to this podcast, this would not be possible. So, I just like to say thank you for everybody watching. It's going to be a great day of college basketball tomorrow. It's going to be a great day for Big Ten Plus because about every game is on Big Ten Plus tomorrow, except for Michigan and Wisconsin. So that's going to be.
They shut down the Reddit NCAA men's basketball stream subreddit, so that you can no longer find the streams of the games.
It's unfortunate. Hopefully Aunt Wright's going to have a stream tomorrow. I mean, I can't stand it. The only one that was streaming the scrimmage, the MSU scrimmage. So, I mean, I don't know why we aren't picking like Defiance at Oakland. That's gonna be a great game.
That's a good one. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't put that on there.
MSOE at Milwaukee. I'm not sure. Milwaukee School of Engineering. I'm sure at Milwaukee. That's a big game. How about Warren Wilson at Appalachian State? There's some big time games. LaGrange at Kennesaw State. Monteval at Troy. Earlham at Ball State. People really go out of their way to schedule tough on the first day. Lebanon Valley at Bucknell. Wilmington at Delaware. Oh my God, Thomas College at Bryant. Please tell me that's the Thomas College.
Oh, no way.
Thomas College at Bryant. You got to look that up.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
I mean, there's probably 100 Thomas colleges, but it's at 7 p.m. on ESPN Plus. That might be worth getting ESPN Plus just for that game.
Oh my God, it is.
Good to see Chaminade playing another game in the States. They're keeping their road trip going. Why didn't we pick the Thomas College game, Chris?
Sorry, I didn't know they were playing Bryant.
Got to add that to the picks. That's a big game. New America East member Bryant, Tom's
Yeah.
College.
That's true. Well, Bryant's an irrelevant America East member because Maine's going to win the league this year.
Fair enough.
All right, that's going to do it for this week's
Oh
college.
wait, Chris, this is a big matchup. Valley Forge versus James Madison. That's George Washington versus James Madison. I mean, that's an American-made matchup right there.
Okay, that's going to do it for this week's podcast. This was really a great show today. We'll be back with more, probably football sometime late next week and basketball whenever.
Yeah,
But enjoy.
we'll get into the tunnel thing then.
Yeah, enjoy the start of the college basketball season, and we'll see you next time.